Hogarth and welcome to Southwest Magazine. The Passamaquoddy Lodge Foundation has kicked off their annual fundraising campaign. Here to tell us what it's all about and what they're fundraising for this year are Donne Smith, Chair of the Fundraising Committee for the Passamaquoddy Lodge Foundation, Bob Carney, a resident and philanthropist at the Passamaquoddy Lodge, and Megan Greenier, Director of Nursing. Thank you all for coming in today and taking time to talk with me.
Thank you, Vicki.
Donne, let's start off by talking about what the campaign is and what you're campaigning for.
Well, thank you, Vicki. We appreciate the opportunity to tell folks a bit more about our annual campaign. It was launched in November and runs into 2026. We have a number of very important items that we are raising funds for. And as many people would know, while the lodge, Passamaquoddy Lodge, is supported by the government, the government is not able to fund all of the necessary items that we need to make the residents happy and healthy. So that's what the campaigns are intended to do. And this year, we are building upon last year's very successful campaign, and we'll talk perhaps a bit of what we were able to accomplish with the help of the Carneys. This year, we're looking for some Broda chairs, which are technically, Megan, I believe they're chairs which help to alleviate some pressure and on some
Broda chair is much like a comfortable wheelchair slash recliner that has appropriate cushions for preventing sores. People who maybe need to tilt, they have that ability. They're more comfortable than a wheelchair. They can do a multitude of things, truly. We were able to raise money for 2 last year, so we're asking for another one this year because the increasing acuity in the residents is happening with people staying at home longer. So basically when they come to us, they're often have greater needs, like maybe in bed, in wheelchair, needing to use lifts, and we want to make them as comfortable as possible. So there's a lot of people asking for them.
And I know last year there were also some things on the list that bring a lot of fun to the residents, things like a soft ice cream maker, then also carts that keep food warm, just quality of life improvements. Tell us a little bit about those from last year's campaign.
Yeah, so they were 2 great items. The ice cream machine, we've won it for years, and that definitely, I think, brings a smile to all the residents' faces. We're able to have ice cream socials. They can just have extra desserts. They do it for activities all the time. In the summer months when we have our weekly barbecues, they often always get ice cream paired with that. So that's lots of fun. The meal carts, they were our biggest ask, but they were also the most needed and wanted. Because when the residents come into the lodge, there's not a lot that they can have control over anymore. They need help with a lot of things. So one of their sort of things that they can control is food. So having hot food that is supposed to be hot and cold food that is supposed to be cold is super important so that it's not having to be reheated multiple times, especially because we're serving 60 residents. So by the time, if you think about the last tray getting handed out, it would need to be reheated because it was in a cart that wasn't so well insulated. So thanks to Bob and Jean, they were able to top us up for what we needed, and we were able to get those, and I think it's been a huge hit. We were able to have a sort of meal and kick it off, and a lot of people were just complimenting like how wonderful it was. Like the food was truly hot, and wasn't it enjoyable, Bob?
I was going to say, Bob can speak firsthand.
Yeah, when I went there, when my wife went into the lodge, why, it was pretty disheartening because the carts that kept supposed to keep the food hot were in bad shape. They were splitting, falling apart, and I said to Megan, why can't you get them fixed? You can't. So I said, what, you know, I had been very fortunate, my wife and I, when I say I, I'm talking about both of us. We sold our property for a good price. And we're going to, I hope, up when we're done. I don't know where we're going, but we can't take any of that money with us. So we decided the lodge needed something to give the people hot food, because it was a real drag going back and forth to the microwave. And she wouldn't eat it. She didn't like it. You know, microwaves are all right, but they toughen your food too. Mm-hmm. And my wife didn't like it. And Dr. Donne, I know he made hundreds of trips across the room to the microwave. And it's the same. So I said, how much are these things? And she told us, Megan told me. And I said, well, there's a spot for some money.
Right.
So I paid for 2 more carts, or the balance, not all. I didn't pay for it all, but I paid for the majority of it.
I think that a lot of us, you know, if we don't have a relative up at the lodge, we don't think about those things day to day. We assume that things like that would be covered. As a resident, Bob, what are things that would be nice to have up there that are still lacking?
Well, I can't say. I don't know. I have no complaints. I don't.
Yes.
When my wife went in there, I never knew anything about the lodge. She volunteered at the lodge for a long time before she went in there. And one day she just said to me, I want to go to the lodge. Right out of the blue. I have to be careful because I'm a little emotional. And I said, what? She said, I want to go to the lodge. I said, okay. So I went up to the lodge to see, well, I went to see the doctor, and the doctor got me in touch with Megan. And one thing led to another, and we got her in there, and then she wouldn't eat. She would eat ice cream sandwiches and milk. And that was it. Nothing off her plate, she wouldn't eat it. And then I said to Megan, my house is sold, I got no place to live. And you can tell the rest of it.
So we looked into getting him socially admitted with her, and now they share a room and they get to be together.
She eats like a horse.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that's funny. Donnie, as soon as she found I was moving in, she started to clean her plate every meal. Every meal. And I don't know, I'm not a miracle worker.
Secret ingredient is often love, Bob.
But the girls, you know, that wait on us, I can't say enough good about the lodge and the way I'm treated and the way my wife is treated. And let's talk about something else.
Well, I think that we want to talk about how generous you have been to this campaign, and you are living proof of how wonderful the experience can be up there, but also someone who can talk to the need.
Thank you very much, but you know, I will say one more thing. When Jean and I got married 60 years ago in round figures, somebody helped us. We had nothing. I mean nothing. She had parents that had a few bucks, and they did help us a little tiny bit, but I just think it's our time to leave this world, and you can talk about that if you want and say, oh, it ain't going to happen, but you better believe it's going to happen. So I got to help somebody get started here.
Oh, Bob, and I'm taking
Well, I mean it. It's a serious thing. If you're giving help when you're in this world, you should give help before you leave.
And to show people at home, because I think you're also very famous. This is a side note for Charlotte. Everyone in Charlotte County, maybe everyone in New Brunswick, is familiar with Bob Carney carvings, which you brought as our table pieces today. These are the 3 you're saving for your family.
Those are for my 3 sons.
And you've given away the rest, I understand.
Well, Sarah Dippin sold most of them, and I gave away a lot of carvings. I taught carving. Jean and I were in the garage one day in the summertime, and we were trying to figure out by name who would come to me for lessons. I don't walk on water. I'm nothing special. I'm just a guy that I guess maybe I missed my coming. I don't know. But I started carving, and I went and took lessons from a guy in Ontario, and he got me going. And this is my first carving.
This one here.
That horse.
I'm holding that up.
And I carved that with an electric drill and a Dremel. Isn't that something?
Well, I think all aspects of who you are, Bob, are so inspiring, and it's wonderful for us to have you here today, not just because of your talent
thank you very much.
as an artist, but I think you'll inspire a lot of people to think about giving away to others for the betterment of the community.
We figured one day I taught about 300 people, more or less. You know, some of them didn't stay very long. Some of them stayed with me for years. I had carvers when I retired that had been with me since I started in New Brunswick. At one time, I had 8 RCMP officers taking lessons from me. 8 of them.
So, I mean, you're also a good reason why people
A
who
lot
don't
of fun.
spend time going up to the lodge to visit our local seniors up there. They play TV bingo, CHCO-TV bingo Tuesday night, which we're
Yeah,
thrilled
I play
about.
it.
But this is an incredible resident you can go up there and talk to, and also be inspired by your philanthropy, because Donne, the generosity of Bob and people like Bob, or places like the Kiwanis Club of St. Andrews is another donor to last year's campaign. What is it you're hoping to do this year as we go into 2026? And we think about residents like Bob and Jean and what they could have their lives improved with.
Well, certainly we've talked about the Broda chairs. We're also looking to make improvements next spring to the courtyard garden, which is getting a bit tired. But one of the most important, actually 2 of the most important items are pieces of medical equipment. Oftentimes when residents have medical issues, they have to get in an ambulance, go to the hospital in St. Stephen, and it's a very big thing. It's very disruptive. This year we're hoping to get a bladder scanner and also ECG. And
So that would check the heart rate and rhythm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And a pizza oven.
And a pizza oven.
And finally,
yes.
the fun thing is a pizza oven. And I'm pleased to say that we're well on our way to our objective this year, which is about 60,000. Some of the pieces of medical equipment are much more expensive, but we have received support from the community and early days. But we do want people to know that that we are working away into the new year. People may have received an email with an attachment, and we've had some pushback. People have not opened the attachment to read what the items are. But it is a legitimate ask.
Holiday scams are concerns, but if you see a Passamaquoddy Lodge email in your inbox, then it's the real
finally,
deal.
Vicki, I don't want to interrupt, but I did want to add one item which is really important when we talk about Bob and Jean, is the fact that they have set up an endowment fund through the community foundation to benefit the lodge. And so after we're all gone, I'm sure that foundation or that gift will still be there to benefit all the residents. And so it's the leadership of Bob and Jean which is so outstanding, and recognizing how important it is to keep to make sure our residents are well looked after, and we applaud them for that. Applaud both of them for that. That's so, and folks can continue to give to us. They can go to our website. They can, of course, talk to the lodge directly, take donations there, send us checks, cash. We're very flexible.
Yep.
So
even
anytime.
through the website, like it's really easy to donate when you hit the donate button, but we also, our foundation accepts e-transfers. So I know a lot of people do that nowadays.
And it's a lot, I think a lot of people in the community are thinking about the fundraising for the new lodge. Obviously these items will come with, but it's important for people to understand this is about fundraising for right now, things that will improve
We call this in the meantime campaign. We know, we're hopeful that we're going to get a new lodge, and we would obviously fundraise when that time comes, but we need funds now. We need support now, and this is what this campaign's about.
Yes, all of our asks are for our current residents in our current home. But the beauty of it is that these things are medical grade. They're going to come with us to the new build. They're going to last years, so.
And I love that there is the pizza oven. Bob, I love that you remembered that too. It's nice to have those happy, uplifting things, because really quality of life can play such a huge factor in our longevity.
Yep.
Why, Bob, are you so excited for the pizza oven?
Well, I'm not excited for it. It was just, I got another donation letter from Donne's crew the other day. They put a letter on my bedside table saying, we need more money for this and that and the other thing. And one of them was a pizza oven, but they said, we're not asking you for more money.
No,
but food makes people happy too.
But I think, I'm really proud of the fact that, and now I'm bragging a bit, but I'm really proud of the fact that they got the 2 heater for the food wagons. The rest of it's immaterial, and I don't care about that. But I think I was in the food business in my previous life, in previous years, and I think it's very, very, very important. If food is to be served hot, it's to be hot. And I can give you a prime example of me shooting my mouth off. Last night I got a bowl of soup, and it wasn't hot. So I said to the girl, could you reheat this? This is a true story. Last night in the dining room, they brought the soup back out, and I dipped into it. God is looking after me, because I just got a little bit of it on my spoon, and I tasted it, and I said, well, that's hot. So I went back for another spoonful, and I got badly burnt right there in my throat. Oh, did it burn?
Now Bob eats in the dining room.
I eat in the dining room. I don't get the advantage of these carts.
He doesn't, but his wife Jean does. And Jean did a lot of philanthropy and volunteering work in the church here in town, as well as teach all the ladies how to make a fabulous apple pie, right, Bob?
Oh, I forgot about that. When we got married, my wife couldn't bake pastry to save her life. I'm telling you, that floor would be more eatable. And I've told her that before. But she had an old maid aunt in Delhi, Ontario that could cook. So she went to see her namesake, Aunt Jean, and she taught her how to make pastry. And then we came to St. Andrews, and this is a funny story. Because, and I don't want to put the ladies of the United Church down.
That's my mother, Bob.
But according to my wife at that time, there weren't too many people that knew how to make real good light pastry. But Jean had learned. And they all went to her for pastry lessons. They did. And they still talk about her today. She could really make an apple pie.
Well, and then that's a beautiful way of giving back, and it shows people, I think, that we can give back to community in all kinds of ways. Sometimes it can be a large fund donation, but maybe you could do similar to last night, actually, the quilt raffle at the lodge. There are lots of ways to fundraise with what our gifts and talents are. But
excuse me, my wife thought awful lot of her church. Now, I'm being very honest. I never went to church. I didn't care for church. I'm being honest up front. There's lots of people out there that feel that way. But she felt the opposite. And those were all her friends at church, and they're the ones that deserved the help they got.
Well, I also think that you were pretty important to her. If you were the reason that she started to eat again when you moved into the lodge, but you were also...
Yeah, that was strange, really strange.
You are proof, though, about how fabulous it is up there and how much more we as a community can do to make it even better. As we get to the final minutes of the show, what are some final messages you'd like to leave with the community? Donne, any other things that we haven't touched on yet that are important to get across?
Well, obviously we would like financial support, but as you've indicated, it is a community venture. It's owned by the lodge is owned by the community, and there are people in the lodge from all over the community, all over Charlotte County. We would love for people to come up and visit and see, and certainly Megan would agree that having new people come in and introducing themselves to some of our residents is important. But the ongoing work of supporting our residents is obviously very important, and in any way that people can help would be appreciated.
And I suppose too, I mean, it's so nice to be able to stay in the community that you love. And Bob, is that for you and Jean wonderful to be able to stay here in St. Andrews and not have to leave the community?
Careful.
Yeah, I hear you. That's how I feel too. I think all of us hope that one day we will also be. My grandma was in the Passamaquoddy Lodge, and I hope I will be there too. So these things are important future investments for our own lives as well. Megan, any messages you'd like to leave with people at home today?
No, just to reiterate what Donne said, that, you know, we obviously appreciate the financial donations because we are working towards our goal into 2026, and we do have lots of big asks, but they will be really important in, I think, making the residents' lives better. Because as he mentioned about them having to leave the home in the ambulance, a lot of our residents have Alzheimer's and dementia. And when they have to leave their familiar environment and go to a strange environment, it really disrupts that. And that can take them multiple days to get back to a sense of normal and happy and comfortable. So everything that we can do for them in the home to prevent that, we want to. And our nurses are trained. We just need the equipment because unfortunately it's not part of our budget. Mm-hmm. But I mean, as well as giving, like, come visit the residents, come see the lodge, reach out to our activity coordinator, Natalie Poirier. We're always looking for volunteers. You know, if you've got a special talent, you know, to help the ladies sewing or come perform music.
Right. Yep. That could even be a fundraising initiative if you were to, let's say, do crafts with people up at the lodge.
Yeah, so there's all kinds of things that you can do.
As you look at the long-term goals, what are your big hopes for the future as you get towards potentially having the new location on the horizon?
Oh, the new location would be fabulous. Anybody would tell you who's been in the lodge, and especially the people who live and work in it, the rooms are just not big enough. The double rooms or the private rooms. A lot of our residents, like I said, because they're staying at home longer and when they come to us, their acuity is higher. They're in wheelchairs and sometimes power wheelchairs. And that takes a lot of room to maneuver and turn. Our doors, most of the bathroom doors, don't have doors on them. They have shower curtains because you can't open the door and still be able to get in it because of the way that it takes up the space in the room. And as well as storage. So all of this equipment that we have and want, we need rooms to store it.
And as you work towards that goal as well, Donne, for fundraising, if you make a donation, can you say where you'd like it to go, or is it?
Certainly.
Okay.
If a donor has a preference, please let us know, and we will see that the money goes toward that particular item.
Or you could sponsor, for instance, maybe if it was, I'll use the ice cream machine as an example, if you could afford to buy a food cart, you could do something.
And that happened last year. We had very generous donors for the ice cream maker. We had the Kiwanis Club and the Bergman Charitable Trust. And of course we had the Carneys for the food carts. So
our endowment went to the Passamaquoddy Lodge.
Yes.
Went to the community Foundation.
Fundy Foundation.
Yeah.
But
Specifically for the Passamaquoddy Lodge, nothing else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
And Bob, I'll leave the final words of the show with you. What is it about the lodge that you love so much about living there?
I don't know a thing about any other lodge in Canada. I've never been in any of them. But I'm going to tell you, in my opinion, the staff at the Passamaquoddy Lodge are the best there are.
I hold that opinion in Charlotte
They
County.
bend
where I
over
too.
backwards to help us. They do anything you ask for. There's just no faults.
we appreciate that. We love hearing it.
Well, I hope that our words today inspire people at home to donate generously or whatever they can so that we can make 2026 an even better year at the Passamaquoddy Lodge. Thank you all so much for your time today. Bob, I need to have you in again to just talk about your life and career, so I might bug you in the new year.
Thank you, Vicki.
Thanks, Vicki. Appreciate it.
My guests today have been Donne Smith, Bob Carney, and Megan Greenier from the Passamaquoddy Lodge. I'm Vicki Hogarth. Thank you for watching Southwest Magazine.
Southwest Magazine is a news and public affairs production of CHCO Television.